Welcome! This is the Gaby and Ryan podcast.
No, it's not. It's Network of Minds.
Alright.
Welcome back.
Welcome! This is the Network of Minds podcast.
Hold on, restart again because I talked over you.
Third time's the charm.
Welcome back.
Welcome to the Network of Minds podcast. This is podcast number 2.
What was that?
That's supposed to be a hashtag. I was trying to do a hashtag.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed the last podcast. If you haven't, check it out. I will place it somewhere somewhere. Yeah, so what are we talking about today?
To the window, to the wall. Today, we are talking about near-death experiences. Now, I feel like there's a couple different experiences here. I feel like there's ones where like you almost died, but no harm was actually done. No significant harm was done on you. Where like you passed out and you felt some experience like that. I never experienced something like that, but I've almost died a few times. But I know there's some people who've died, and some people share similar experiences. Like they've like go into this place like a garden, and there's like maybe like their deceased relatives or pets or something like that, and they're able to talk to them, and then they get brought back to life, and they go through a tunnel and something like that. So we're just going to talk about basically things that revolve around that. So you said you never even came close to dying.
No.
She needs to live more riskier.
No, I have life to live.
Need to live a little. As Drake would say, YOLO.
How about we start with your experiences, because they're not like the out of body situation. It's just you experienced hanging on to life essentially. Yeah.
Now, I remember Gaby was listening to a video by Gaby Hannah, and she was saying that
I was listening to a video?
Watching a video, listening to a video. I think you were like doing something else while you were watching it.
Okay.
And she was saying that it's almost like someone's been like watching over her because she's gone through so many near-death experiences. Do you believe in that at all? Like people can watch over, like maybe you have like a guardian, maybe that's what it is. Or
yeah, but that's a whole other conversation.
I know it's a whole other conversation, but what I was going to tie that into was that's almost kind of like how I feel. Like I'm not a religious. I want to say I don't really know. I'm agnostic, I guess I would say. I'm open to the possibility of there being a God, but I try my best to be skeptical of everything, ask a lot of questions, and gather all my evidence before I make a life-changing decision like that. I'm not going to dedicate myself to faith. But that's just me personally. However, when I look back in my life and I see so many different times where like I almost died, and which the stupid things that I've done, it's almost like I had like a guardian angel just like watching over me, protecting me a little bit. So I have 3 big ones that kind of like made me stop and like really think about my life and be like, why are you doing all this stupid shit? You're like almost dying. The first one was when I was 17. I just moved to Alberta, and I'm working at a wood mill, and I'm driving a forklift. And I have when I'm driving this forklift, I'm carrying around like these giant multi-ton piles of wood, and they're literally like 16 feet long and whatnot, and then I put them on top of a roller, and the roller brings the giant stack of pile of wood inside. And before it goes inside, it's connected. The pile of wood are strapped with metal bands, so you have to like cut the bands with some metal clippers, right? But a trick that some of the coworkers showed me was that you can actually just you can drive the forklift to forks into the pins to snap it instead of having to get it off your forklift, go to it, cut it. You can just do it all on the forklift, right? So that's what I did. I used my 2 forks. I penetrated the two metal bands, and they broke. And then I got back to my forklift, And then I realized, oh, one of them is not completely snapped yet. So I took my metal clippers and I got out of my forklift, but I forgot to put on the park brake. So I went over to this pile of wood, went to go cut it fully, and before I even cut it, I just like this forklift, 2 forks just like right next to me went like slammed right into it, and like it like made a hole in the wood. And if I was just like an inch over to the right, it would have like, I guess it just would have skinned me. But if I was like, say like a foot over where like the forks actually went like through my body, like it totally, the speed that it went into the forklift, like we had to get another forklift to take my forks out of the pile of wood. That's how strong it hit this pile of wood. So like if that was like me, like in this way, like that would totally impale me. Mm-hmm. So that was like when I like went, holy, life is fragile. Holy crap-a-doodle, that was life-changing. Is that a swear word? Is that a recognized swear word on YouTube? I
don't know, to be
crap-a-doodle.
Honest. Could be, yeah. Anyways, okay, so that it wasn't you. Okay, so the near-death experiences you're talking about is I could have got seriously injured or died.
Yeah.
But I didn't get injured at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking more like I got into a serious accident and I'm almost going to die here.
Okay.
Okay, cool. No, that's still the same. Like, it's still a near-death experience.
So
I know what you're saying.
Near-death experience. So that's what I was saying off the beginning, is that I feel like there's a couple different, like,
yeah, totally.
Your experiences can change, like,
vary.
They vary quite drastically, yeah. When you hear people who actually had near-death experiences where they've kind of left their body, like they actually flatlined and left their body, and they've went through a tunnel, and then they were in a garden and they met their loved ones and
okay, so I think we should preface that. So there are people that in Maine. So when I was doing more research about it, most of the people that have that kind of experience have gone through like a cardiac arrest, or like the one girl we watched, she had a brain hemorrhage or something like that. But a lot of the times, these people who experience this tunnel of, you know, they're going through this tunnel that has lots of light, they feel warmth, love, and they also kind of feel some fear because they don't know what's going on, are usually correlated with people who go through cardiac arrest, so a heart attack. So there's a bunch of research done on that, actually. So yeah, I don't know. I personally think, just from a scientific view of things, that it's the reactions in your body happening while, you know, stuff is shutting down in your body. Like they said here that your brain actually can't function after your heart stops beating. Typically the time frame for your brain to stop working functionally is 20 to 30 seconds after your heart stops.
Why can't your brain function while your heart is stopped?
Because it needs the blood.
Why does it need the blood?
Okay, you're asking way too specific questions. Yeah, so there was a 2013 research, like a study done. They did it with rats, and they saw that once they were going through death, like they had induced a cardiac arrest, the brain activity actually flared up, so it was actually higher than normal. And
when they died?
No. So near-death experiences like tunneling and stuff like that is a presumptuous thing that happens before you actually die. So it happens on the way to like dying. Like, you know, when you see like shows and stuff like that where all of a sudden all the medical machines start like beeping like crazy before like actually like flatlines. Mm-hmm. It's like during that process that you start tunneling.
So you believe tunneling is a real thing that all humans will feel when before they're about to die? It's like a precursor before someone passes.
No, cardiac arrest people. This study, there's a study specifically done on near-death experiences in 2014. There's 100 participants, and 46% of them remembered an experience with their death, they almost died and they came back. And it all was around the same kind of theme of bright lights, family, but they also felt fear. but 2 patients recall their actual resuscitation after they died, which is clinically impossible. Like, that is, it's not possible. Your organs have shut down at this point. Your heart is not beating. And that's what they were saying is, once your heart stops beating because it's not pumping blood to your brain anymore, your brain actually isn't active between 20 and 30 seconds after you actually die, like after your heart stops beating.
Mm-hmm.
So where was I? Yeah, so these are the only 2 people that have actually reported that after death they were still experiencing like an out of body experience. These other people, it was a like right before you die.
And so you believe this is actually what happened to them right before they died?
Yeah, I believe it's super possible because our brain is crazy. Our brain has so many inputs going on, and I think it's also a fear-induced thing that, even in humans, like religion and everything, we believe in and have values such as these things because it makes us feel better. When it comes down to the root of it, it makes us feel better because we have some sort of sense of we know what's going to happen or etc. When you are actually going through the process of, I'm dying now, like I'm going to die in the next few minutes or whatever, I do think it's totally possible because your brain is in fear, so it's gonna create this tunnel, as they say, of light and happiness.
It makes you feel a little to reduce the amount of anxiety that's happening.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of these people, they start, when they're going down this tunnel, they start hearing, either their pets or family members that have already passed. So this is where the sense that, I'm in heaven right now.
Do you think it's, you think that's exactly what it is? It's just, it's your brain making up these things to comfort you? Or do you think that it actually might be your loved ones that you're connecting with in this realm, because it's a realm that your entire life never been, and then all of a sudden you have this near-death experience and you're there, and your deceased loved ones are deceased, so maybe no, you don't think that?
No, I think that this experience
I think that's what you're saying too.
I think that this experience that people have when they die and they come back to life is just created in the mind. But I do believe that there is an afterlife, but I don't think you can experience that briefly and then come back to life. I think you either die and you move on to an afterlife, or you don't, if you're going to flatline and come back and be resuscitated and you're going to come back to life, it's not a...
Sorry, you said you believe in afterlife, right?
Yes.
So you're saying that if you were to have a cardiac arrest right now and you were to flatline and I was to take you to hospital and there were some defibrillators on you and bring you back to life, and you don't think that you've experienced any kind of a taste of what the afterlife might be?
We're talking about tunneling right now.
We're talking about all the things that are conjoined into what's...
But it's not, because the tunneling and experiences that people are having are the experiences they have on the way to death.
Okay.
So that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying
just
that
tunneling right now specific.
I think that whole experience that people often have is chemical reactions in your brain. I don't think that is heaven specifically, which a lot of people associate that experience is heaven, but I think that's just your brain trying to comfort you. I don't know about the after death part, if you actually flatlined and then they brought you back, because that happens a lot, but most people don't have a recollection of after they actually flatlined.
Yeah. But you do hear of similar stories that people share when they flatlined.
No, see, that's
but they do vary. Some people say they didn't feel anything; it was just blackness, and then they came back to life and conscious again. And some people experience a wide range of other things.
Can I finish? That's what I was saying. Is most people are. The way it's being reported, I don't think is correct. The study that they've actually been doing on this near-death experience that people are experiencing through cardiac arrest shows that these people are actually not experiencing that after flatlining. It is before flatlining. Only 2 patients have reported that they've actually experienced after flatlining, they saw themselves being resuscitated.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Also, who's to know if they're not actually there recording, like, from this time to this time you flatlined, and, you know, like, there's no way to, like, no one's going to be in the room when someone is dying and recording their brain activity and saying, no, it actually stopped when you flatlined. So who knows, really.
Okay, so you said you believe in the chemical reactions in the brain, and these chemical reactions lead to these feelings of comfort the brain's inducing for you, but you don't believe at all that it's going to be. Can
I change the word believe? I think that it's
highly
things. Probable. Not. I don't like the word believe. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Nobody knows.
Like if I had like a bunch of money and we had like 100% way of knowing what is what, like whether it actually was your deceased loved ones talking to you, and you actually did go to this place of like almost like a purgatory before you go to heaven and whatnot, or if it was just a chemical reaction. So I was to place my bets on something, I would say it's just the chemical reactions, but there's a small percentage of just like not being able to know. I think that because every person is different, everyone has a little bit different predominant subconscious thoughts. And I think when, say, every person on Earth was to experience a near-death experience, do you think that their predominant subconscious thoughts of what happens to someone after they die is what they see when they're experiencing this?
What? I'm lost.
Say like say I'm a super religious fanatic and I pass away temporarily.
Yeah.
Do you think I would see Jesus and hear a voice and go to like this purgatory setting, or say I was a strong atheist? Do you think I would just see absolute nothing, just blackness? Like just one moment I was dead and another moment I was alive.
Well, I do know that some people who are atheists, and I know a person, and they flatlined and happened, and they experienced that situation. So it's kind of so I don't know. I do think it's a high chance of, like, of course you've believed that your whole life, and now your brain that's in your brain.
It's kind of hardwired for you to think this way, yeah.
So yeah, it's totally possible that it's gonna it's just like dreaming, right? What you think of and whatever.
Yeah. That's what I guess a good way to put it is like your subconscious thoughts kind of drive your dreams sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. I'd say for a large majority. Do you think maybe that's also what is driving? It's almost like a dream that's happening to you when you die, temporarily. Or yeah.
No, you're not sleeping. You're not an REM, so it's not like that at all. But sure, you can compare it to it.
I know obviously sleeping and temporarily dying is totally different because when you're sleeping, you know, you don't have all these stimulants in the real life to keep your brain active, but your brain still needs to be active, so it kind of creates all these scenarios when you're dreaming. At least that's what I've read sometimes on sleep, is that because your mind is so active during the day, and then it can't just turn off everything, so it kind of makes up these dreams to keep your brain active. That's what I don't know if that's true, but it's what I read.
It's somewhat true.
Somewhat true.
But anyways, that's a whole other conversation.
Somewhat true is better than not true.
So I got this from some like a neurological research, like where people put out neuroscience news.
Okay.
So this is a quote. It says that illusion could be born out of a neurological response to physiological stress during cardiac events. In other words, a cognitive experience preceding, not following, the clinical death itself, and which is later remembered by the patient. So, sorry, that's just backing up what I was saying earlier, that it's preceding death, not happening after flatlining.
Right.
I also have this. So this is a neurological scientist, Cameron Shaw. This is a quote. "I think out-of-body experiences have been debunked just because the mechanism that produces sight and records memories are inoperative. According to Cameron, because the brain's blood supply is pumped from underneath, the brain would die from the top downward. Our senses of self, our sense of humor, our ability to think ahead, that stuff all goes within the first 10 to 20 seconds. Then as the wave of blood-starved brain cells spread out, our memories and language centers short out until we are left with just the core." So in like textbook where it's not possible
To what?
to have these like out-of-body near-death experiences
After you flatline.
After you flatline, after your heart stops beating.
It all happens before you die.
Yeah, you have about 30 seconds afterwards where you still have activity going on in your brain, but that's it.
I hope I have a pretty bang-on dream, or whatever you want to call it,
You know,
before
like
I die. It's my last thoughts. I want to be living in a utopian world, and on a beach.
What do you think
beach.
of, this just came to me, when people say, like, your life flashed before your eyes, or their life flashed before their eyes?
I think it's something just, like, I think it's a chemical reaction in the brain,
because that's another thing that people also say that, like, happens when they experience that, like, dying.
I think that flash flash of lights or whatever is a universal thing. I think
Not
that...
lights. Not lights.
No?
Your life flashing before your eyes. Like, your whole life plays within, like, 20 seconds. 10 seconds, whatever. You re-see your life.
What do I think about that?
Yeah, it's also a common thing that,
people...
I've heard
that, yeah. I don't know, that would be crazy, though.
Yeah.
Kind of like...
No, you can't rewrite the script.
No, that's not what I was going to ask. It's like, when this happens before I die, can I just, like, slow down the parts that were awesome?
No.
Like, my first time eating crunchy peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter. First time... That was amazing! I just want to, like, relive that, and then play it back again, and be able to, like, taste peanut butter for the first time, a second time, a third time, a fourth time. Can I do that?
No,
Why
you're
not?
stupid. Okay. Well. Continue.
About crunchy peanut butter?
No.
Oh, I can go on. I can make like a whole podcast about crunchy peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Why do you keep calling it that?
Peanut butter.
You're still doing it. Peanut
I know,
butter.
I'm saying it like that to...
butter.
Peanut butter.
Yeah. Okay, so aside from near-death experiences, another thing that like comes with near-death experiences is out-of-body experiences. So that one girl, when she was younger and she had a brain hemorrhage, and then she saw herself like in the room, she was like above herself, and she saw herself laying on the bed and heard all the machines and etc. There's also like... people have claimed that they're able to produce that themselves and actually control their out-of-body experience and kind of go into this astral world.
Without dying.
No, yeah. They're just like sleeping or very, very like meditate. Like not meditate. They've been in a meditation and they have gone and they've flown above their body and they see themselves and then they go into this astral world and they can basically time warp themselves to some place.
Yeah, that's crazy because I don't really know much about meditation, but I know that meditation can do great things for the mind, and maybe like, there's like this train of thought that opens up these doors for you to do such things. I mean, like I don't believe in it. Like again,
Hold on. There's a fly attacking me. Sorry,
attacking you.
It was, yeah.
Attacking with flies. Be an interesting movie.
Lord of the
Flies.
Flies.
Like a horror movie.
There is already
a bunch of like flies like
That'd
build
be
up like a gang, an army of flies, and they attack and eat you.
Unnecessary tangent.
So you're saying that these people are like visiting these You said Astral World? That's what it's called?
Astral... Oh, I deleted it. Dang it. Yeah, the Astral Realm. That's what they called it, the Astral Realm.
So these people are able to access the Astral Realm by meditating and just getting to like this one peace of mind.
Yeah, I don't know exactly all of it, but I don't know. I've never done it. I don't know. But they, like, it starts off with them meditating, and then they basically float above their body, and they can see themselves laying there meditating, and then they're able to, like, warp to some time or place or whatever. I don't even know. There's also stories of people, like, getting stuck there in the astral, and they can't find their way back to their body. Yeah, isn't that weird?
That is weird. Yeah, I don't know. I never even heard of that. So, I mean, I would say personally, I would find it extremely hard to believe. Something that I think is one of those things where you would have to see it to believe it or feel it to believe it.
Yeah, for sure.
But
how...
I can't. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not possible, because that's just being arrogant.
Another view holds that the astral plane or world, rather than being some kind of boundary area crossed by the soul, is the entirety of spirit existence or spirit worlds to which those who die on earth go, and where they believe they live out their non-physical lives. So, basically heaven. But it's not heaven in a sense where heaven is supposed to be like this amazing place. It's just a place you go. At this point.
It's a place to go when you meditate a certain way.
No. So it's... You didn't listen to the whole... It is the world of the celestial spheres crossed by the soul in its astral body on the way to being born and after death.
Oh.
It is generally believed that it should be populated by angel spirits or other immaterial beings. It says another view holds that the astral plane or world, rather than being some kind of boundary area, is the entirety of spirit existence or spirit worlds to which those who die on earth go, and where they live out their non-physical lives. It is understood that all consciousness resides in the astral plane. That's interesting. So, you know that theory I was talking about? Oh, that's in the podcast we never uploaded. I was talking about how after we die, our soul goes to a place and we remember all the lives we've lived before, and then we get sent back here at some other point of life to learn another life lesson. So our our soul is always in this realm, and our physical being, our 3D self that we can actually feel, is here.
Our soul is always in this realm?
Yeah, it's saying it is understood that all consciousness resides in the astral plane. Like at all times.
At all times?
Consciousness resides in the astral plane. So our 3D selves are here. But our consciousness lives in this other plane.
If our consciousness lives in this astral plane all the time, then why can't we be conscious of this astral plane?
No, we don't
like,
see
wouldn't
that.
we be like connected to, like, wouldn't my conscious be connected to your conscious?
Why?
Because they're all in the same plane.
That makes no sense. I'm not connected to your body, and we're in the same plane right now.
Our 3D body is separate. Like if we're thinking that the soul and the physical body are disconnected, like they're two different things, and one's on the physical earth, and then our consciousness is in this astral plane, and it exists there at all times. Wouldn't we somehow be connected to one another? Yeah.
It's not a soup of consciousness up there.
That's how I'm thinking. It's like it's like a soup.
We each have our own consciousness. We're each still one thing. Just like think of it as like a ball. We're all a ball of conscious up there, whatever. You know, just like this. I don't know, orb. I don't know.
But you're also saying that you can like tap into this this astral plane and then be able to connect with like deceased loved ones and angels and
well,
like
so
that.
there's different views. That's what I'm saying. So the first view was that it was where angels and spirits and immaterial beings are. Another view holds that it's this place where we go after we die or before we're born. So, and all our consciousness is held there at all times. So when we die, our physical body dies, we just revert. We're just our consciousness up in this astral plane. Is basically what this is saying. And don't say I'm telling you. I'm reading from Wikipedia.
I know you're not telling me this.
Okay, so people who claimed they go to this astral world, it's actually called astral projection. There's a name for it.
Astral projection.
Now, at the top of this Wikipedia article says, this article is about the paranormal concept. So astral projection or astral travel is a term used in esotericism to describe an intentional out-of-body experience that assumes the existence of a soul or consciousness called an astral body that is separate from the physical body and capable of traveling outside it throughout the universe. The idea of astral travel is ancient and occurs in multiple cultures. It is sometimes reported in association with dreams and forms of meditation. Some individuals have reported perceptions similar to descriptions of astral projections that were induced through various hallucinogenic and hypnotic means. There's no scientific evidence that there is a consciousness or soul which is separate from normal neural activity, or that one consciously leave the body and make observations, and astral projections has been characterized as a pseudoscience. But then there's all these people who have all these things that, you know, they teach you how to have an astral projection or do astral traveling or their experience with astral traveling. But that all comes back to, we haven't proven it in science because it's so impossible to prove consciousness.
Yeah, it is.
That sounds very interesting. The reason I know about this is because I was watching all these videos telling you, like, how you can, and, like, but it just freaks me out, the idea of, like, what if I actually happened to me and, like, I had this thing where I couldn't find my body, like, you know, like, it's kind of freaky when you, like, get too deep into it and you're like, wait, what if that actually happens to me? I think it's time to call it a night.
Yeah, I think it's time to call it a night.
If you guys have anything interesting to add, or if you know more about the topics we talked about tonight, let us know down in the comments. If you liked the podcast, give it a like.
Yeah.
Give us a subscribe. We should have some more videos up coming soon.
Hopefully soon. Yeah.
Check out our past podcast. Check out, what did you have? Your beep test. Gotta get on that.
Yeah, I'm still stuck at stage 3, level 1.
You can also find us on Twitch. Mine is GJ Pry.
Mine's Ardom.
And that's about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Take care. Bye.